Welcome to the three-part micro learning session on commercial customer scoring. I'm Mike Bevilacqua, Senior Vice President of Education and Content for the Credit Research Foundation. We've partnered with our platinum partner, Experian, for them to share insights and knowledge on how to proactively identify high-risk accounts within your portfolio. These sessions are designed to help you think through how best to categorize your accounts and stay ahead and mitigate high-risk accounts, especially now that the economy is showing signs of slowing and liquidity is tougher to obtain and at much higher interest rates. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Experian.
Thanks, Mike, for that great introduction. Today, we are excited for our first micro session, and this session is going to focus on the importance of portfolio scoring. Before we get started, I would like to introduce our speakers today. I'm Allison Teixeira, Senior Marketing Manager at Experian for Business Information Services, and we have Bonnie Garrity, Team Lead for the Solutions Consultants in BIS. Before we dive into portfolio scoring, I just wanted to take a minute to review some statistics on why scores really matter. Scores are very important, and they will help you manage risk and make better decisions. Did you know that 50% of risk is in the bottom 10% of scores? And by scoring your portfolio, you can identify 74% of bad accounts in the bottom 20% of scores. And lastly, by implementing a collection score, you can improve collection effort efficiency by 20%. It's pretty exciting. Some common trade industry challenges we hear in the marketplace today are the ability to identify the riskiest accounts and truly understand the financial health of a business. Being able to continuously review your customers and update their terms accordingly, and the ability to proactively measure and maintain a healthy portfolio. The last challenge I have here is automation. Automation is a challenge, and we often resort back to manual processes, and we skip the portfolio review because it's quite lengthy. So what I'd like to do is turn it over to Bonnie, who's really going to educate us on why scoring your portfolio will help gain better insights into your customers. Bonnie?
Thank you, Allie. So why should you score your portfolio? We're going to look at a couple of different ways that you can do that. The first would be to determine delinquency. Is this customer likely to pay you on time? So a delinquency score is going to be important to determine that short-term risk. Secondly, you want to look at the overall financial health of your customer. Will this business pay you at all? So it's really predicting over a longer period of time whether this customer will remain in business. And I think it's important to know that you can use both of those scores in your strategy to determine short-term risk as well as that long-term financial health risk. And lastly, it's important if you get into that situation where you have deemed a customer, a collection account, you want a way to prioritize those accounts to determine which accounts you should call on first and where you're most likely to collect the amount that's outstanding. So some type of a prioritization score is important too. And that can be coupled with primarily that financial health score as well. So what drives a score? Really, we should be looking at all of the information that's available on a particular entity, from payment behavior to current payment status, how they're utilizing their credit, so credit limit versus what's outstanding, and really some of that firmographic information, the age of the customer, the industry that they're in. Certain industries, of course, are riskier than others. The size of the business may be indicated by the number of employees or the revenue, annual revenue. And importantly, of course, derogatory items, bankruptcies, public filings like UCCs, tax liens, judgments, all of those should be taken into account when you're looking at these scoring models. I think it's also important, and part of the larger part of this circle that we're showing here is the search match technology that you're using with any provider that might provide you information on your customers. So you want to make sure you're looking at the correct entity when we're giving you scores, right? So if you're looking at a score, you want to make sure you're actually assessing the correct customer. And corporate linkage might play into that as well. Are you looking at the headquarter location? Are you looking at the parent account as opposed to a subsidiary or a branch location? So all important to understanding what the credit risk of that customer looks like. So what are the benefits of scoring overall? It really gives you a good view, short-term and long-term, of the risk associated with the particular customer. It also allows you to manage risk throughout the customer life cycle. So use these scores to onboard your customers, but also continuously update those scores so you understand if there is additional risk on this customer, or perhaps your risk has decreased and you can increase your credit limit with a particular customer. Not something you have to worry about doing yourselves. There's a lot of innovative scoring models out there and available to you. Certainly partner up with a provider to help you get the benefit of those. And finally, in summary, start today. Go out there, find a provider, provide your trade data, so your AR information, which is going to have all of the customers that you're doing business with, and score those customers. That's going to be important to understand the full risk of the customer portfolio that you're dealing with.
Great. Thank you, Bonnie. Now that we discussed the importance of scoring your portfolio on a regular basis, here are some helpful next steps so you can take action today. As Bonnie said, you don't have to do it by yourself. Partner with a third party and then get a baseline risk assessment. You can set up ongoing scoring on a regular frequency and continually review your portfolio. Don't forget to tune in to our next micro session on understanding your customers, where we dive into the benefits of segmenting your portfolio. See you next time.